Bumble Bee is the largest marketer of canned salmon in the world. We source the majority of our wild-caught salmon from the pristine waters of the Alaskan coast. We are the largest buyer of salmon from this region, which provides the vast majority of salmon to North America. We feel good about knowing that not only are we sourcing from a fishery that yields some of the best salmon in the world, we are also sourcing from a fishery widely recognized as one of the best run and most sustainable in the world. The Alaskan salmon industry is a model of effective fishery conservation. The fishery is managed at both a state and federal level, with fishery conservation laws actually written into the state constitution, the only state in the union that has such provisions. The Alaska Department of Fish and Game has primary responsibility for managing and enforcing salmon fishery policies. It has a strong conservation mandate to ensure the fisheries are managed for sustained yield. That is, to ensure the proper amount of fishing during a given season in a given location based on an estimated number of fish to ensure the long-term health of the stocks. Local fishery managers are given the authority to open and close fisheries to ensure adequate numbers of adult fish are able to return to rivers to spawn, which also ensures long-term health of the stocks. Alaska also manages the number of vessels allowed to fish, as well as the allocation of total allowable seasonal catches through the Alaska Board of Fisheries. Further testament to the strong management structure of the fishery is its award of the Independent Third Party Responsible Fisheries Management Certification. This certification is based on the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, or FAO, Code of Conduct for Responsible Fisheries and the FAO Guidelines for Eco-Labeling of Fish and Fishery Products from Marine Capture Fisheries. The substantive requirements of the FAO codes are the world's most widely recognized sustainability principles. The management of Alaska's salmon fisheries has enabled continued strong harvests for all 5 of Alaskan salmon species. We use 3 of the 5 species of salmon found in Alaska in our products. The pink salmon is the most common salmon found in the Pacific. Catches of pink salmon have averaged around 100 million fish per year over the last decade. The pink salmon is the smallest of the Pacific salmon found in North America, averaging between 3.5 and 5 pounds and measuring between 20 and 25 inches in length. The sockeye salmon, also known as red or sometimes the blueback, is the next most common salmon, with catches averaging around 40 million fish per year over the last decade. Sockeyes weigh between 4 and 15 pounds and measure from 18 to 31 inches in length. They get their blueback name from the seagoing sockeye that have metallic green-blue tops. As sockeye return upriver to their spawning grounds, their bodies turn bright red, giving them their other common name. The third species of salmon we can is the kata, or chum salmon. Kata, or chum salmon, average just over 2 feet in length and weigh between 10 and 13 pounds. About 20 million fish per year have been caught over the last decade. While the life cycle of each salmon species is a little different, there are some basic commonalities. Alaska salmon spawn in thousands of freshwater rivers and lakes across the state. After incubation and hatching, the young migrate to the ocean, swimming thousands of miles in the Bering Sea and Gulf of Alaska as they mature to adulthood. After taking 2 to 4 years, depending on species, to reach adulthood, their instincts drive them to return to their exact place of birth to spawn, maintaining the same timing during the summer year after year. As salmon prepare to return to freshwater spawning ground, they build up the reserves of fat and nutrients to carry them through their journey upstream. It is at this time, just prior to entering freshwater, that the salmon are harvested. The salmon harvest is seasonal, lasting from about May through September for the species we source. The key salmon fisheries are located off the southern and southwestern coasts of Alaska. Prior to each fishing season, fishery managers use the latest available scientific research to establish the numbers of fish that can be caught without damaging the health of the individual species or their habitat. The salmon fishing season is not open until local fishery managers determine that enough fish have passed upstream to lay eggs to sustain the stock, known as escapement. After sufficient numbers of fish have escaped capture, managers will radio to the waiting boats that they can begin catching fish. The fishery is closed when the established total allowable catch is met. The primary commercial method of catching salmon is via purse seine and gill nets. Purse seiners primarily catch pink salmon. The boats, by Alaskan law, are less than 58 feet in length. Purse seine fishing involves locating salmon and encircling the school with a large net that has a float line that keeps it on the surface. A weighted line on the bottom of the net sinks the net vertically into the water. A smaller boat takes one end of the net and pulls it around the school and reconnects the net to the main fishing vessel. The purse seine line that runs through the bottom of the net up to the fishing vessel is slowly pulled tight, closing the bottom of the net like a purse string to contain the school of fish. As the purse line and the net is pulled aboard the boat, the circle gets smaller and the fish closer to the surface. At this point, the fish are dipped from the water into a fishing vessel, where they are refrigerated and transferred to a processing facility. Gill netters primarily catch the sockeye and chum salmon bumblebee cans. Gill netters are typically 30 to 40 feet in length. They catch fish by setting curtain-like nets vertically into the water and perpendicular to the direction the fish are traveling as they migrate towards the coast towards their streams. The mesh openings are designed to be just large enough to allow the male fish, which are usually bigger, to get captured, while avoiding capturing most of the smaller females. As with the purse seiner, fish are refrigerated for transfer to a tender and eventually transported to processing facilities. Upon arrival of the salmon at the cannery, the fish are quickly unloaded from the tender and sorted according to size and species. The salmon are then loaded into an indexer and extractor machine to remove the heads and the eggs. Next, a cleaning machine removes the fins, tails, scales, and entrails, and the fish move to the cleaning tables where they are thoroughly washed. At the beginning of the canning line, the fish are cut into steaks to fit the height of the can. A filling machine then automatically fills each can with the salmon and adds a salt tablet. Cans are weighed and any fill or weight variances are corrected. Next, lids are attached to the can, stamped with the production code, and sealed onto the can with a seamer. A vacuum is also drawn. Cans are then washed and inspected prior to being retorted. Cans are then loaded onto the trays and moved into retort ovens where they are cooked for the calculated amount of time needed to sterilize the contents. After retorting, they are cooled before being palletized and shipped to facilities where the cans are individually labeled and packed, ready for distribution to the market, where they are available to consumers across North America. We here at Bumble Bee are proud of the quality of our products. Because of the sustainable manner in which our products are managed, we are confident that we will be able to continue to provide these great products to consumers around the world for generations to come.